my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is the Sunday show where I show the hottest Golden Age comics for the week. And it should be a pretty cool list. It is the last list of the year. Next week, actually, I'm going to do kind of a special episode, so stay tuned for that. But for this week, we're looking at the last hot list of the year. Number 10 on the list is World's Finest number 30. This is from DC Comics, 1947. It is a Jack Burnley and Charles Perez cover, and or Paris, and it's a fire truck cover. It's a cool one. It's got like Superman, Batman, and Robin all riding a fire truck. It's a cool cover. This was a 5.0 that sold, and it sold for $370. That's actually down. This was a bit of a slight steal, I would say. The previous record for this book was set back in July of 2023 for $417.19. But the last sale, that was the last sale. Prior to that, if you go back 3 years even, this book had sold back in December of 2021 for $395. So even 3 years ago, this book was more expensive. Somebody got a nice price on this book. I think there is a bit of that Christmas time where you can actually pick up some pretty good deals. Sometimes people just want to get rid of some books, and this was one of the ones that they wanted to get rid of, I guess, because it's a cool book, and somebody got it for a great price. There are 70 of these on the census, and 62 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 9 on the list is Krazy Comics number 9. This is from Timely, 1943. It is a really great cover because it's Dar Führer's face. It's basically, a Hitler as a cat cover. And these Hitler ones where it's in kids' books, where it's like a Hitler parody in a kid's books, go for big money. And they're very desirable for collectors. Krazy Comics, Comedy Comics has a few with Hitler as an animal. And these ones, they go for crazy monies. Taffy is another one. There's a bunch. If you ever see a kids comic from the 1940s that has a sort of parody of Hitler, big money. Crazy money, actually. This one was a 4.5 that sold, and it sold for $761 at auction on eBay. Now, this is the only sale in this grade. So, it's a record. I guess it's a record. The fair market value, according to Go Collect, is around $750. And I think that is actually a pretty good assessment of where the fair market value is. So this is slightly above the fair market value. Now, the reason I say that that's a fair, reasonably good interpretation of where the fair market value is, there was 2 sales that I kind of derived that from. There was a 1.0 sale that happened in April of 2021 that was $300. So you'd think, well, I know if you go price per point, well, then this would be worth way more. But usually in the low grades, there's a bit of price compression. There was actually a 2.5 that sold for $312 in August of 2019. So I think $750 would be a fair market value for this. So this is right in line with fair market value. Very cool book, but it shows you how expensive these kids' books that feature some kind of parody of Hitler or Nazis in them, they can command big money. There's only 16 of these on the census, and 16 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list is Startling Terror Tales number 10. This is from Star Publications, 1952. It's an L.B. Cole cover. And Star Publications, for those who are not familiar, was actually a publication that was owned by L.B. Cole. Basically, he did all the covers for whatever titles that they had. This is actually the first issue of the series, and it's a Jekyll and Hyde cover. It's a really great one where you got this Jekyll and Hyde character. Well, more hide, and he's pulling this girl's hair back and stabbing her in the chest. It's a classic cover. Um, so this was a 7.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,130. Now that's actually way down. The prior record for this book was set back in August of 2019, August of 2018, sorry, for $1,560. And the last sale for this book was in November of 2022 for $1,500. This book usually isn't around that $1,500 range in this grade. So this is about 30% down from that established value for this book. A very weak sale. I think, though, to give a little bit of explanation, this book was part of an eBay mass sale that one collector had, just a whole bunch of really awesome books. And I think in a way that kind of worked against the sale, because what happened was there was just too many targets of opportunity, and some books went big and others kind of went a little cheaply. And this is one of the ones that went cheaply. He also had a PEP 36 that went under what you would expect it to go for. So there was a few books that were a bit of steals. Others kind of people overpaid. So it was like people were going for targets of opportunity and they couldn't go for everything. There are 89 of these on the census, and 79 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Adventures into the Unknown, number 1. This is from ACG from 1948. It is an Edward Mortiz cover. And it's just, a pretty major title for ACG. It's like one that actually was fairly long lasting. And this was a 1.0 that sold, and it sold for $1,150. Now, this book was really rough in terms of it, in terms of the condition. It presents well, though, strangely, but it has a complete spine split and had 5 extra staples added to it. So basically, somebody stapled that cover on. Now, this is way up. The prior record for this book was set back in June of 2021 for $570. So this is double what it had sold for before. Really strong sale for this book. There are 69 of these on the census, and 65 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 6 on the list is King Comics number 120. This is from David McKay Publications from 1946. But this one was an interesting one, not because it's a key. It's not even a cool cover. It's kind of an interesting book because it was part of the Reuben Blades collection, and it was also a pedigree from the Promise collection. So Reuben Blades was an actor, or still is an actor, that just recently sold his collection. Well, this is part of his collection, and it was also part of a pedigree. So double pedigree in a weird way. So kind of gives it some interest. This was actually a pretty big sale. This was a 9.0 that sold, and it sold for $1,299. Now, it's not the Promise collection. It was the Lost Valley collection, pedigree, sorry. It's actually the highest copy on the census as well. But the prior record for this book, because it's one of those ones where nobody necessarily would go for it, like for whatever, it's not a desired book because there's no key about it, and it's not that cool of a cover. So the prior record for this book was set back in October of 2024, so not that long ago, for $414. So it's up like 3 times from that prior record. Yeah, I have no idea why it sold for so much. Really big sale. There's only 2 of these on the census, and this, as I said, is the highest on the census. Number 5 on the list is Action Comics number 31. This is from DC Comics 1941. It is a Joe Shuster cover. And it's a really cool firing squad cover. You got bondage, a girl in bondage. I don't think it's Lois Lane, so it's not Lois Lane, but it is a girl in bondage. And it's a firing squad, and Superman's coming in to save the day. Very cool cover. This was a 4.0 that sold, and it sold for $1,298, which is also way up from the prior record for this book, which was set back in April of 2019 for $635. So it's up double from where it had sold just a few years ago. Very big sale, very cool book. Firing Squad covers generally command a bit more money because people think that they're cool, and this is in that kind of genre. There's 93 of these on the census, and 77 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 4 on the list is Peanuts #1. This is from United Feature Syndicate from 1953. Is the only issue of this title, and it's the first titled Peanuts comic. Kind of a major book for Peanuts collectors. Very desirable. If you look at eBay right now, they have crazy prices for this book. It's one that I've been trying to get in my personal collection for a long time, but the prices are always insane, like just totally out to lunch. Well, this book was one of those out to lunch prices because this was a 0.5 that sold, so an incomplete copy. And originally they wanted $1,500 for it, but somebody took a best offer of $925. Well, that is incredibly high. Actually, that's a high price because the previous record for this book was set back in October of 2019 for $256.03. So it's up 4 times almost from that prior record. Just a massive sale. Even a 1.0 had a sale back in September of 2018 for $780. So this is above what a 1.0 had sold for. Just a really big sale. I look at the prices on eBay for this book, and it's just crazy. I see people listing this at almost $2,000 for a 0.5. It doesn't make any sense. I think people are going a little bit too extreme. But it is a cool book. You know, if you're a Peanuts collector, this is one of the ones that you go for. It's one of the big keys for Peanuts collectors. There are 63 of these on the census, and 61 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Another thing that kind of makes it a key is it's one of the earliest cover appearances for the Peanuts. That's another big thing for this book. Okay, number 3 on the list is Green Lantern number 30. This is from DC Comics, 1948. It's an Alex Toth cover, and it is the origin and first appearance of Streak, the Wonder Dog. Now, if you're not familiar with Streak the Wonder Dog, he is actually Green Lantern's super pet. So each of the DC characters seem to have their own super pets. You got Crypto for Superman, you got Kanga, or Jumpa, I should say, for Wonder Woman. You got all the different ones for the different characters. Streaky the cat for Supergirl. You know, all these super pets, really cool. This is Green Lantern's super pet. This was a 5.5 that sold, and it sold for $2,500, so $2,500. This is way down, actually, but an interesting sale. The previous record for this book was set back in August of 2021 for $3,360, and that was a big sale, and it was actually kind of consistent that this book generally goes for around that $3,000 mark. However, back in November of 2024, so just last month, the book that I'm talking about right now, this 5.5 that sold for $2,500, well, it had a sale in November for $1,684. So I think what happened is it was the exact same book. They decided, hey, I got a steal on it. I'm going to flip it for a fair price and a very flippable price. And that's what they did. They got they kind of passed on that savings to somebody else. So I've seen this a few times where people want to do a quick flip. And if they get a steal on a book, and there are steals out there, sometimes you can, luck into a book, and then you you just sell it for slightly below what fair market value is, and people will snap it up. And that's what happened with this one. Just a really great sale for somebody. So somebody made a quick flip, made a few $100s, and did quite well. And even the person that bought it did well. So there's 35 of these on the census, and 31 of them are Universal Blue Labels. So keep your eyes open. Sometimes you can pick up some steals. So just a little bit of FYI on that one. Okay, so number 2 on the list is Adventure Comics number 60. This is from DC Comics 1941. It is a Craig Flessel cover, and or Feisel, and it's a Sandman cover. Now, Sandman covers from the Golden Age, very desirable. He's a cool-looking character with this weird gas mask and fedora. Just a cool-looking character. So these covers with him on the cover from the Golden Age, big money. And this one fell in line with that. So this was a 5.0 that sold, and it sold for $2,500. The previous record for this book was set back in November of 2020 for $2,200. So this is a new record, very strong sale for a very cool cover. These Sandman covers are really hard to find, actually. Like, any of them. They're just really hard to find. You don't see them come up for sale very often. This was I think somebody just saw this and jumped on it because it's one that you just don't see that often. There's only 44 of these on the census, and 38 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Great sale. Number 1, speaking of great sales, was Crime Suspense Stories number 22. This is from EC Comics 1954. It is a Johnny Craig cover, and it is probably one of the most notorious comics of all time, because it is a decapitation cover. You got the guy holding the axe and the head, and you see the body on the floor. This one was used in the Senate hearings to basically end the comics from the Golden Age. It marked the very end of the Golden Age of comics, because right after they discussed this comic between William Gaines and the Senate, they quickly had to do some major work, because they had to come out with the Comic Code Authority, because there was real outrage because of Bill Gaines' reaction to the questions that he was asked. He basically downplayed the horrific cover, and that didn't sit well with people in the media. So because of all the adverse reaction, they had to come out with the Comic Code Authority, and that ended the Golden Age of comics. So very major book, a very key book, and very cool cover still. So this was a 1.5 that sold, and it sold for $2,650. Now this is way down, actually. The previous record for this book was set back in January of 2024 for $3,860. So massive sale back in January. It's kind of a weird one, because there was a more recent sale for a 1.5, but it was a really ugly copy. Like, just it looked like every much 1.5. It just was very defaced cover, and that sold for $1,800 in June of 2024. So this is up from the last sale, but down from the prior record. It's sort of in between the two. Somebody just got a good price on this one. I'm not sure why they sold it for so little. This was a best, just not a best offer. It was just a fixed price on eBay. So somebody picked up a really great deal on it, because really these 1.5s generally sell for about $3,000. So this was under what probably fair market value was. And again, it could be the Christmas effect, where you get people, they are trying to sell something quickly for Christmas, raise some money for buying Christmas presents or whatever, and they just want a quick flip, and they do a little bit of a fire sale and sell their books cheaply. I think somebody got a really great price on it. There are 463 of these on the census, and 414 of them are Universal Blue Labels. That just shows you how common these EC books are compared to some of the other ones on the list. Just there's a lot of them out there. Just a great book, though. I hope you enjoyed this list. Have a Merry Christmas. Thanks again for watching. Give me your feedback in the comments below, and bye for now.